What's happening, family? Dr. Joe here. Happy Sunday afternoon, evening. And I hope each of you are well and blessed. I'm so excited that you guys have taken the time to meet us for another great edition of Village Chat, episode number 2. So, wherever you are in the city, the country, the state of the world, I hope you are doing well. I hope you've had a fabulous weekend and an even more spectacular Sunday. But more importantly than that, I'm glad that you've taken the time to make your way here. I'm Dr. Joe, the author and founder of the world's greatest transformational process, the 4-day Turnup and the Journey process, where we take the time to help people transform their lives holistically, mind, body, and spirit. You hear a lot of that, but at the end of the day, you can't compartmentalize change. Meaning that if you're trying to change yourself physically, it has to be a mental, spiritual, and emotional transformation as well. You can't just pick and choose because God made us complex in being part body, part mind, and part spirit. And that's exactly what we've done. By the time this year has ended, I would have been blessed to have worked with almost 10,000 people in either the 40-day Turnup as well as the Journey 3.0 Plus process. People who range from a myriad of different countries and different places and spaces. And it's great. So that's what this is all about. If you desire to want to know more about us, you can follow us on all social platforms, Journey Life TV on Facebook, on Instagram, and here on YouTube. And you can join and follow us and visit our website at journeylife.tv. We're glad you're here. When you hear about the subject matter of Village Chat is a great time for us to kind of corral as a community. We come together and take the time to spotlight the stories of actual participants who are matriculating through the process as we speak. Sometimes they're participants, sometimes they can be coaches, but today I've got a very, very special guest, and I'm excited that she's here. And I know you guys are going to be excited that she's here. And we're going to have and hear from another wonderful participant. And I'm going to bring her on, my special guest, Nkechi Hendrickson. Did I say it right?
Nkechi. It was very close.
Yes, Nkechi Hendrickson. How are you doing, Nkechi?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing just fabulous. First of all, thank you for accepting to be my guest. You said you were nervous, but I don't believe it.
I am. You have a very big following. So yes.
Well, listen, I'm
a little bit.
I'm glad that you accepted to be here, and we can't wait to get started. So, thank you for joining me. How are you feeling on today?
I'm feeling good today, actually.
Okay.
Great energy. I woke up. I did a workout. Drank plenty of water, ate some breakfast. So
okay, awesome. So you ready to rock and roll?
Yes.
Well, let's get started. Let's hear all about you. Tell us about who you are and where you're from.
So my name is Nkechi Hendrickson. Born and raised on the south side of Chicago. Recently, 4 years ago, I relocated to Smyrna, Georgia. I'm a hairstylist for over 21 years. And I'm the mother to twin daughters. They're 9 years old, Zuri and Zoe. Mm-hmm. And I also was diagnosed with an illness called Scleroderma, which is a battle of its own. And I'm just here enjoying life, trying to get healthier.
Wow, that you said so much. That is great. So you're from the south side of Chicago.
I am.
You moved to Smyrna, which is a city right outside Atlanta. And how long ago was that?
August 2019.
Okay, 2019. So like literally right before COVID.
Right before, like 7, yeah.
So right. what made you go through? What made you leave Chicago, your hometown, and come here?
There was a lot of reasons. Honestly, I always tell people I've been wanting to move here since I was 7 years old. Mm-hmm. My mom would bring me and my siblings down to visit their father's side of the family. And I would always be like, why are we going back to the cold Chicago?
Right.
And then years later, I had quite a few friends to come here and go to college, and I would come and visit, and I would do hair on campus. And I always just wanted to move, but I had a very big clientele in Chicago.
Mhm.
I owned a hair salon for 12 years in Chicago.
Mm.
So it was just hard to really make that move. So 2019, a couple of things happened. We had polar vortex
Mhm.
where it reached like below 20 degrees in
Yeah.
Chicago.
Yeah.
And like I said, I battled an autoimmune illness, and that cold weather was just like tearing my body up.
Mhm.
And so my kids were 5. They were about to begin kindergarten that following winter,
Mhm.
fall. And I was like, okay, I cannot get up in the cold, shovel snow, scrape ice, put all these clothes on to take them to school. And I knew that was going to be a battle. So I
Mhm.
was like, my 40, and I was turning 40,
Mhm.
my 40th birthday. I went to Florida. I sat on a balcony at like 2 in the morning, and I just asked God, like, what do you want me to do?
Mhm.
Move? Can I move without my support system? That's what I was really thinking. Like, can
Right.
I leave without my support system? Can I leave my clientele behind? Like, can I do this?
Mhm.
I got the answer, yes. I
Mhm.
came home, I got on the internet, I put in apartments in Atlanta. Smyrna, Georgia popped up. The apartment complex I actually live in now, popped up first. I clicked it, filled out the application, got approved, signed the lease, all from Chicago, never seen the apartment, never seen the neighborhood,
Mhm.
and packed my bags and brought my kids here.
That was a God move for sure, wasn't it?
It was.
Wow. Wow. What an awesome story. So you've been in hair, you've been doing hair, you owned your own shop there. You're doing hair here, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Hmm.
So how has the transition been for you from Chicago to Smyrna?
It hasn't been an easy one. It's been rocky. Um, but I've been enjoying the process as well. Like, I never felt homesick from the time I got here. I felt like I was supposed to be here.
Mhm.
So though I miss the clientele and my family, I just been pushing to make it work. It I think with the pandemic, it kind of changed the
Yeah.
beauty industry a little bit. So that part's been a little rocky. Um, Dealing with my illness and not really having my support system,
Mhm.
but I have an amazing support system, which is how I actually found you. My mom and my sister and my aunt, they all take turns visiting and helping
Mhm.
and just doing whatever they can do to support us. So it's been working out. It's working out.
You know, what's amazing, I'm sitting here, you have such a beautiful spirit about you. There's something very, very special about you. People never know how and why I pick the people that I pick, and I don't either. It's just something that I think is like a God-led type thing.
Hmm.
I just saw you one day on social media, and I asked you. It was nothing. It was nothing. No one told me. I
Hmm.
had never talked to you, and just
Hmm.
sitting here, listening to you. I know that you're going through this process is divine. I know, and I know God is orchestrating some things for you, and
Absolutely.
and I think that you're God is preparing you for something that is going to be great. Um, I just feel that. So I just wanted to just share that with you. That's just what I
Thank
feel
you.
sitting here talking to. So let's
Thank
let's
you.
keep, let's keep on talking, okay?
Thank
All
you.
right, all right.
Yes.
Because now you talked about. I want to back into a couple of things that you said. You
Hmm.
said that the hair care industry has changed since COVID, and we know COVID
Yes.
has changed the world. But I'm interested to hear from a professional who's been in it. How has can you dive into that a little bit deeper? How has COVID changed hair care? I would love to hear that.
Oh, it made women understand that they can do their hair at home more so.
Mhm.
Um, that they was figuring it out
Mhm.
during the time that everything was shut down. They was figuring it out. So when things opened back up, um, they kind of was like, okay, we don't need too much from the hairstyle and if inflation,
Mhm.
with the price of rent going up and groceries going up, women have to save money now. So it just kind of changed how women move. You know, you usually have the clients that come every week, every 2 weeks, no matter what. And now it's like, we're going to come in, we'll get a good cut, we'll get, you know, whatever chemicals we need, color, and then we'll see you in 4 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So instead of that every week client, you don't really have that many of those anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They're more like every 3-4 weeks when needed or when there's an event. And I'm not in the extension. I do more cuts and color. So I think the girls who wear hair weave and wigs, and I think they're still kind of pushing through. But the women who's wearing their own hair, they figured out how to do it at home.
Wow.
Yeah.
That makes perfect sense because we literally were shut in for 2 years. That's crazy. I mean, if someone would have told me in August, like August of 19, when you said you moved, that the world was going to be shut, I don't think any of us could have imagined that. It was like really something out of a dream.
And I really probably wouldn't have moved if I
if you knew that was coming, right? Right.
Yeah,
wow. That's something. Now you talk about your illness. First of all, are you okay with talking about that?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. Can you educate us on what that is? Tell us. You said it's autoimmune. What is it?
Mm-hmm. It's called systemic sclerosis, also known as scleroderma.
Okay.
Excuse me. So basically, my body overproduces collagen,
yes,
and causes thickening in the organs.
Mm-hmm.
So it, you know, for me, it's affected my skin and my lungs. Mm-hmm. Everybody is different. Everybody has a different story with it. Mm-hmm. It can affect any organ in your body, joints. It's a really terrible illness, I'm gonna say. Right. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
How long have you been battling with it?
So I battled with it for 8 years before ever being diagnosed.
Wow.
2009 is when I started to have the symptoms in my hands. My hands were locking up. They were turning really dark, and it kind of just like crawled up my arm and across my chest. And I went for several tests. I've seen several specialists. Mm-hmm. It's such a rare illness mm-hmm. that nobody knew what it was. They kept testing me for lupus, mm-hmm. and because it looks very similar mm-hmm. to lupus.
Right.
And so it wasn't until I had my kids 2014, mm-hmm. and I had a near-death experience 7 days later. Fluid build up in my lungs. I was rushed to ICU. No one knew what happened. No one knew why it happened. And then 2 years after that is when I walked into a rheumatologist's office, and she said, "I know what you have. We're going to test you, but I'm pretty sure that it's scleroderma." Mm-hmm. So 2016 was when I was finally diagnosed.
Since your diagnosis in 2016, have you noticed that the condition flares up, goes away? Does it come and go? Talk to us about what you experience.
So during a flare up, I get my skin is very tight, yes. And it itches, and I experience joint pains where I could barely walk. Sometimes I can't. If I walk like from my living room to my front door, I'm out of breath. Mm-hmm. And so most of the time, the flare-ups come from lack of rest, mm-hmm. Just trying to do too much, mm-hmm. and the foods we eat. Right. The foods we eat. And I know when I did see a holistic doctor after being diagnosed, and what she told me was that autoimmune illnesses lay dormant in most people's body, right. And it's your lifestyle that brings them alive. Right. And she's like, it's lack of rest, not eating properly, and just the environment that you're in. And so, of course, I did hair all the time. I stood all the time, and I did live a very unhealthy lifestyle.
Mhm.
And when I was younger,
Right.
so I noticed that weather changes makes me flare.
Mhm.
Um, dairy makes me flare.
Mhm.
Um, stress,
Yeah.
stress makes me flare.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Wow. Well, you know, what's amazing about this, once again, is confirmation. I had toyed with doing something specifically on autoimmune. I kind of mentioned this a
Hmm.
couple of maybe a week or so ago, and I'm definitely going to do that. And because it was one of those things that I think a lot of people are dealing with autoimmune, and
A
it's
lot.
a lot of people, and it's so
Mhm.
sneaky because a lot of times the condition is subclinical. So when you go into a medical doctor's office, they can't find it, and they'll miss it, just like in your kind of like in
Yeah.
your situation. You know, they run tests and tests and tests, and then they'll find it, and then it's like, I've been going through this for
For
X
so
amount of years,
long.
and they'll tell you, you know, that you need some rest, you need this, that, and then all along, it's like your immune system is fighting against you, and then it just manifests in people differently, you know?
It does. It does.
You
And it's um and me being a hairstylist, I see women all the time that I know suffering from something autoimmune, but they don't.
know?
They just explain to me what they're going through,
Right,
hair loss, and I'm like, you need to get a blood panel done
right,
like
right, right,
ASAP.
right. Well, I have my own twist on autoimmune,
Mhm.
and I'm going to this conversation here. See, you see why how God works,
Yeah.
you know. So that's going to move me, and I'm going to be certain that before this session ends, that I'm going to do a special presentation on that, and you are
That'd be
going to
great.
be the inspiration that
Mhm.
pushes me to do that. All right, so I'm glad we had that conversation, and prayerfully, you can get some relief and some healing of what you've been going through as well.
Yes.
Um,
Absolutely.
let's let's kind of what's a typical day for you? So you get up, you go into what does the day look like for you?
Okay, so Monday through Friday, I'm waking up 5:30 a.m. I get my children up no later than 6 o'clock. Get them ready for school. Take them to school. Come back. Right now, I'm working 3 days a week. I had to shorten my days because it was wearing on my body. So I'm working 3 days, and the 3 days I'm working, the days I'm not working, I'm taking my daughter to ballet after school. So we do ballet 3 days a week.
Mhm.
Um, I'm working 3 days a week. I have my other daughter is going to chorus one day out the week. So pretty much I'm on the move as soon as I wake up in the morning.
Right.
I get them to school. If it's my off day, Tuesdays and Fridays mainly, I come back home and I rest.
Mhm.
I rest, and now that I'm on the diet, I'm meal planning on those days as well.
Right. Right.
And so I'm home usually no later than well, ooh, 8 o'clock, 8,
Mhm.
9 o'clock.
So you have a
And
full slate.
yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gone all day,
Yeah.
every day.
Right.
Yep,
And it's almost like, it's almost like you can't even afford to not have your health
I cannot.
because you
I
got
cannot afford to not have my health,
right.
and I can't afford to work like I would like to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a battle.
Yeah.
Battle.
And being a mother, caring for those children, that within itself is a full-time job.
It is. It is. And I honestly wish I could work from home. That's what I'm trying to pivot into now. I've taken some tech sales boot camps, and I'm trying to actually pivot from behind the chair eventually.
What are some things that you feel that if you had them in your life, that it could help accelerate you to where you want to be, if that
Some
makes sense.
things that if I could have in my life.
Yeah, like when you say how you're trying to pivot to work from home, like what are some
Mhm.
things that you feel that you need to get you to what you feel your next is?
Oh, better a better income right
Yeah,
now.
yeah, yeah.
Will honestly change a lot of things. I feel like I would be able to resource and outsource
Mhm,
a lot of things instead of me just being the one person that does it.
mhm,
I mean, if it's just even getting someone to clean,
mhm.
you know, once a week, twice a month would be a big help. Um, Maybe having somebody take my kids to ballet
Yeah.
at least once a
Help,
week.
help.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just just
yeah.
some help. And help comes with finance. So that's what I'm saying. If I could get a better income, then I can outsource these things better.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Great. Great. Okay. All right. Well, let's kind of pivot some and go to the 40-day turn up. Now, you talked about this, a couple of family members who told you about the 40 turn.
Mhm.
How were you introduced to the 40-day turn up?
So a friend of my sister's introduced her.
Hmm.
I believe she is a coach now too.
Hmm.
Um, she introduced her. My sister and my mom did it the last session.
Hmm.
They did it together, and then my mom and my sister introduced me and my auntie.
Wow. So your
Yeah,
auntie is in it as well.
yeah,
So
yeah.
shout out to your auntie.
Yes, my
That's
auntie's down 21 pounds in two
Look at
weeks.
her. All right, auntie, in 2
Yes,
weeks.
yeah,
Shout out,
auntie's doing
auntie.
it.
Well, what were your initial thoughts when you first so when you got in, accepted, like, what were your thoughts?
So originally, when my mom did it, because she was like, "You should join too," and I was like, "I don't have time for that, ma. All this stuff you doing,
Mhm,
I don't have time for that."
mhm.
So she kept saying, "It works, it works, it works." And Kate, you really should try it. So honestly, seeing the results
Yeah,
from my mom,
yeah,
even my sister, she lost a lot of weight as well. But for my mom,
yeah,
who was um kind of down and out before the diet,
yeah.
who's actually been a nurse for 51 years. So
Mhm,
she's very
mhm,
uh educated in health,
mhm.
but she just kind of, once you retire, you just kind of get in your moods. And just seeing her lose the weight, have the energy, she enjoyed the summer so much because she was able to just really get around again.
Right.
So when she came to me with it for this season, I was like, yeah, if my mom feeling like this, I'm gonna do
Give me
it.
some of that.
Give me some of what you had. So yeah, I was against it. I just thought it was gonna be hard to do,
Yeah,
incorporate all,
right.
but I'm making it happen.
Well, look at you. That is awesome. How is it going through the process with your group? And if you want to shout your group out, you can.
Oh yes, new beginnings.
Yeah.
Coach Carrie, leader, Barbara, Miss Barbara. They are amazing. My group is amazing. Um, it's funny because since I moved to Georgia, the people that I have met
Yes.
have been like very God fearing people.
Yes.
And not that I just wasn't a very religious person. I
Right.
believed in God, I prayed,
Mhm.
but become, I have came around so many people
Mhm.
who pray with me
Yes.
and just always blessing me. And so when I got into this group, Coach Carrie every morning sends a prayer.
Mhm.
My buddy Rania, she is amazing. She prayed with me this morning that this would go well. She was like, "Let's pray about it, right?" So I'm like, yeah, I'm happy with my group. There's some amazing women in my group.
That is
Everybody's doing good.
well. I'm tell you what's amazing about you is you're like a there was just somewhere in Arizona, on the West Coast. It was a huge mine of titanium that we discovered, and
Mhm.
it's a really big deal now. And I feel that about you. I feel like God has put some treasures on the inside of you that needs to be extracted. And I feel that what you've come through in your life and the people that God is putting around you are going to be a lot of those individuals that help you get to the point that brings out this diamond that has been buried within you for such a long time. I can see in the comment section, not only here, but on Facebook, how people respond to you. You have a spirit, you have an energy that draws people towards you. And I don't even know if you are aware of it. And like I said at the beginning of our conversation, I really think God has some great plans for you. And I want to encourage you, because the key to unlocking what it is that you're trying to unlock is spiritual in nature. It's something that this world is not going to reveal to you, but it's something that's going to be intrinsic and it's going to be divine. So continue to do what you're doing and continue to kind of follow the path of how God is pushing you, and be aware of the people and the opportunities, because I really believe that in another 6 to 12 months that your life is going to look completely different. I think you're going to be messaging me saying, you remember when we had that conversation? I'm calling it now.
I receive it. I'm
What's
receiving
today?
it all.
It's October 15th. All right. 5/26. I think within the next 6 to 12 months, you're going to be messaging me referencing this conversation you just watched. I feel that. You receive it?
I feel it. I receive
Okay.
it.
All right. Okay. All right. Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
All right. When you started the 40-day Turnup, did you feel like you were ready?
I'm not sure. I was ready for the change. In me, I don't know if I was completely ready for the diet.
Yeah.
The actual because honestly, on the third day after the 2-day detox, I realized that I hadn't been grocery shopping. I hadn't planned for a meal. And even my buddy was like, "You got your meals planned out?" And I was like, no, not yet." So I got up and I was running to the store and I was grabbing stuff. So technically I wasn't physically ready, but mentally I was, preparing myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. How do you feel that you're progressing thus far?
I feel great. I feel amazing. I can say I got slightly discouraged doing my weigh-in yesterday.
Yeah.
It was only a couple of it wasn't even a whole 2 pounds.
Right.
And I was like, oh my God, what happened? Because I was following, and then I was thinking like, is it my medications?
Yeah.
I didn't really know. But as I spoke with other women, they didn't have a very big weight drop either. Right. So I was like, okay, maybe it's just that's a part of the process. I'm not sure. But so I was just a slight bit discouraged. And that's why I woke up this morning and I was like, okay, we about to work out.
Right.
Drink this water.
Right.
Because I don't want that to happen on the 3rd week. Plus, I watched the masterclass yesterday and you was like, okay, now.
Right.
It's y'all last chance to get it together.
Right.
So,
and
yeah.
that happens. That can be very, very typical at this stage. You're learning, it's new. And the key is to stay invested and committed to yourself. And trust the process. And I'm going to address all of those things as we go, and you're going to be just fine. Okay. So that is awesome. Well, before I let you go, I've got some fun questions. Can we ask some fun questions? Does that sound good? Okay.
All right.
All right. Fun question number 1. If you could live anywhere else besides Smyrna, where would you live and why? It could be anywhere.
I would love to live on an island.
Okay.
I just love the beach. I love the water.
Okay.
My dad's from Trinidad, so I'm an island girl at heart anyway. And so I would love a beach house.
A beach house.
Love a beach house on the water. Any island, honestly. Any island. It could be Trinidad, Jamaica, Bahamas. Just
So your father is from Trinidad,
Yes,
mom is from,
she's from Chicago,
but your name is Nigerian.
but my name is not.
Now tell us about that. You see how interesting you are. Mom is
So
from America, dad is from Trinidad, but you got a Nigerian name. So
yes, and
tell us
it's so
about the
crazy.
name. What does it mean? How did it come from? Tell us all of it.
Funny story. My as a kid,
Mhm,
people always thought that my mom was from Trinidad
mhm,
and my dad until they heard my dad speak. But my mom is very Afrocentric,
mhm.
and so they was like, "Oh, your mom? She's from Africa somewhere." And I'm like, "No, she's from the west side of Chicago." But she's she's very Afrocentric. She loves the culture, and she read a book called "Things Fall Apart,"
Right.
and it was about a girl named Nkechi, and so she fell in love with the name, and it means one who God graces,
Wow.
and she
In
gave it to
KC.
me.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, thank you for that. All right.
You're
All
welcome.
right. Second fun question. If your personality was an animal, what would you be?
Mm,
Any animal in the animal kingdom.
I would say a lion.
A lion. And why?
Yeah. Um, because I can be aggressive, and I can be aggressive, but at the same time, I can go anywhere. I can be anywhere. I can adapt to anything.
Right.
Um,
So
and
don't
I
mess
just
with Nkechi.
no,
Don't mess with
no, yeah. So
what
I just think a lion.
when is your birth month?
May,
May.
yeah,
So you're Taurus.
Gemini,
Gemini. Okay.
yes,
Okay. So you're late May.
yes, May 29th.
May 29th. Okay. All right. Gemini.
Hmm.
Creative, right?
Creative, very
Okay. All right.
creative.
All right.
Yes.
All right. I got another one for you. If you could have any superpower of any superhero, what would it be and why? I love these questions.
Spider Man.
Okay. All right.
Spider Man.
Put the web on people. Okay.
Just put the web on people or
Okay.
jump from building to building.
Okay. Okay. That's all right. That sounds great. All right. Last question. If if you entered a cooking competition and you had to make your best dish, what would it be?
Stewed chicken.
Stewed chicken.
Yes.
Now, is that an island type of thing,
It
or
is.
tell
Yes.
us what's in it? Tell us about it.
Stewed chicken. So basically, it's chicken. You sear it, and you let it marinate. It
Mhm.
has to marinate with seasonings for at least 24 hours. You sear it. You add browning, and some people add coconut milk. I don't. Broth. You let it simmer. The sauce thickens up. You pour it over some rice.
And that's some good eating right there, isn't it?
Oh, it's so good.
Well,
I can't make it like my dad though, but
oh, really?
I do a good job. My daddy
Okay.
was the best.
Well, listen, you have been a splendid guest.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much,
Thank you for
Nkechi,
having me.
for being here. You have a beautiful spirit. Everything that I said, stand by and I believe in it, and I can't wait to celebrate in it when you are messaging me within the next 6 to 12 months. Okay,
I'm gonna let you know.
all right. All right. So you hang
Thank
in there.
you.
Thank you for being my special guest. It's been an honor to sit up here and hear your story. And everyone, we got 400 plus people watching. They're all in the group and they're singing your praises as well. So thank you for
Oh,
being here.
thank
Okay.
you.
And we'll speak soon. Okay.
All right.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
What a great guest, Nkechi Hendrickson. Wasn't that a wonderful interview? In Village Chat, the bomb, 2 consecutive weeks of 2 great guests. Salute to each of you. It's 5:34. I want you all to know that this was a great conversation. A lot of things came up when she was talking about her autoimmune condition. I kind of told you all that I was deliberating on doing something on that. I think tonight's conversation confirmed that I will do that. Many of you were in the comment section who aren't a part of the Turnup are saying, "Hey, can you present the materials on YouTube?" And I will. When I do that, I'll be certain that I announce it on all of our social medias, and then that way, whenever I do that special on autoimmune, for all of you who are not a part of the process, you're not in the village, you will have access to it because it's something that our community needs. Too many Black people, too many of my people, our people, are dealing with autoimmune disorders, and we're not getting the guidance that I feel that we could be getting to address it. So I give you my word that I'm going to do that, and it'll be done this session. So we've got another 4 weeks, so it'll be within the next month. Okay, so that's the first thing that I want to say. The second thing that I want to say is I want you all to understand something. At yesterday's masterclass, great class, how to read your blood work, one of the questions that came up, and I think it was a young lady who was asking me, what is the recommended amount of protein we need in a day? And I'm not going to get into the nuance or to the specifics or the minutia of how much protein do we need to be eating, but I'm going to make more so of a statement. It's a philosophical understanding of something that I want all of you to understand. A lot of people get caught up on recommendations. How much should I be eating? What should I be doing? And the key to life and the key to striving for ultimate health is learning how whatever is recommended for someone may not be ideal for you. A lot of people will tell you you need a gram of protein per pound of body weight. And for a lot of individuals, that may be too much. So although a recommended amount may be half a gram to 0.75 grams per pound of body weight, you have to allow your blood work to tell you how and what you need to alter. What I mean by that is, if your kidneys are strained based upon the blood work that your doctor runs for you, if your kidneys are showing that your blood urea nitrate, the BUN numbers, are increasing, which is a byproduct of the breakdown of the protein that you eat, that blood marker should tell you I need to reduce my protein until I can get those blood markers back to the normal rate. Because you may be getting excessive amounts of BUN, blood urea nitrate, at recommended amounts. Am I making sense? So what I'm trying to get you to understand is, don't worry about the recommendation. Worry about how is my body responding to my current nutritional profile. Okay, I hope that's making sense. Another reason why we have to take that into consideration is when they're doing tests and what's normal, when you're going to your doctor and your doctor says, okay, normal function is between this and this, this and this. A lot of those averages aren't data that has been collected from people of African descent. So what you have to understand is when they're trying to tell you what's normal, a lot of that is based upon averages of people who don't have the same type of heritage that you have. And Black people have a different heritage. We have different things that we need. Black people do not do well when we're eating large amounts of animal protein, large amounts of fat, large amounts of cheese and dairy. Our genetic disposition does not warrant us to be able to handle those types of diets like our Caucasian brothers and sisters. And it comes down to a genetic type of thing. Our ancestors, Black, when I say our, I'm talking about Black people. Our ancestry comes from a place where it wasn't a lot of cows that were fat. It wasn't a lot of fattened pigs and sheep and lambs. All of the animals that roamed in Africa, in the motherland, thousands and thousands of years ago, were lean animals. Our ancestors were hunters and gatherers. They weren't eating bread, they weren't eating pasta and rice. And although a lot of the countries in Africa now have the presence of things like rice, a lot of people don't historically bifurcate the pre-colonialization of Africa and post-colonialization of Africa, meaning what? When Europeans came to Africa, what Africans ate prior to Europeans colonizing it was different than what they ate before. Okay, I want to make that historical designation because it's important. Because what is affecting our genetic disposition is not the gene pool of what happened in Africa when Europeans colonized it, but it was those tens of thousands of years before that you are a byproduct of. I hope you all are following me. So what I'm saying is the ancestors of Black people, right? The ancestors of Black people were hunters and gatherers. What were they eating? Mostly plants, fruits, vegetables, tumors, yams, sweet potatoes. And when they ate meat, or if they ate fish, it was a smaller amount. Cheese, dairy, things of that nature that has been pasteurized, those are not things that Black people do well when we are exposed to it. And when you study the blood markers of African Americans here in the West, you can see it. Our Caucasian brothers and sisters have a higher tolerance to high fat diets. We as Black folks don't respond well. So the point that I'm trying to get you to understand is this: don't get caught up on the recommendations, because most of the recommendations aren't fit for us. Do y'all follow me? Right now, they'll tell you that you need about 2,500 milligrams of salt per day. That's too high for Black people. Why? Think about it. Where do we come from? The motherland. We're descendants of people from West Africa, from North Africa, from South Africa. The oldest people in the world are the San. That's Nelson Mandela, the San people. They have the oldest genetic gene pool in the world, the South Africans, right? So when you look at what we are a byproduct of, we come from places that are arid, that are hot, okay? Our ancestors were in hot, arid climate for tens of thousands of years, which means that after so much time in an arid climate, we changed. What happened? Our skin darkened. Geographical evolutionary adaptation. What else happened? Our noses became wide. Big, wide noses have a practical advantage in arid climates. It helps the aspiration process, the ability to be able to breathe. So the wide nose that Black people have is functional. But many of us suffer from slave minds that we think Eurocentric beauty is what we need to look like, so we don't accept our big wide nose. You understand what I'm saying? The nappy hair that we like to press and we like to straighten. I'm not hating on that. I'm not saying nothing negative. I'm just saying the coil of our hair is practical. It helps in the cooling process. When you look at Europeans and Africans, our European brothers and sisters are hairier than we are. Their hair is straight and it layers. It insulates. Why? Because their ancestry is from a different geographical location. So one of the things that our ancestors had is the ability to hold on to sodium. if we have a genetic predisposition to hold on to sodium, then what's going to happen when you give us the same amount that is recommended? We're probably going to have higher sodium levels, which means that you can't trust the recommendations. Because the recommendations, let me kick this guy out. Brandon, you're a hater. Put this dude out. So back to what I was saying is, don't get caught up in the recommendations. Let your blood markers tell you where you are, what you need to do, and adjustments you need to make. This week, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have some extra part 2, how to read your blood work, to where I'm going to take the study, the largest study of its type, over 30 plus years, 46,000 people, and they took all the centenarians. Those are individuals who made it to 100. They studied their blood work. They showed what was alike. What is it about the people who lived to 100? What is it about their blood markers that we who are trying to get there can learn from? I'm going to share that article with you. I'm going to share that study with you. I've got an entire masterclass on that. To those of you who may have had a bump in the road this week, don't worry about that. We're going to have our weekly statistical review and performance analysis in the morning. I can't tell you right now what time because I'm not certain, but like I always do, I'll post in the morning what time to expect me. It'll be sometime before 10 a.m., but it's going to be after 8 because I've got an appointment in the morning at 8 o'clock. So I'll do it sometime after that. Thank you guys again for coming out. We had a wonderful episode on today. God bless each of you. I hope all of you are well. Look forward to seeing you guys in the morning. Until then, be well, be blessed, and we'll see you then. Peace and blessings.